Skull Keldernace is there as well, and Kai van Zyl. Those are your Class A cars. Pole position in Class B, standing on P6, is the Wheelworks machine of Zaki Hendricks. Then right in there with Zaki Hendricks, the rest of the field just busy gridding there. That is Carl Visser that is out there in that 9 car, and then Mohammed Kalfrey is there next to him in the 14 car. Then we've got Mark Thompson in the 61, that's the Polo Classic, and a bit further down we see the class, Brett van der Schuyf is coming through as well, but he is behind, I think, 3 of the Class C entries.
So the leading Class C entry is going to have a pretty difficult time out there, because that Class C, we like to refer to the Brat Pack purely because initially Class C was much called the youngsters. Faisal Jacobs, a 130.8, a 131.1, 3/10 off is Noor Abbas, and then Matthew Rowe within 100th of that. So very, very tight in Class C. Frankie, these Class A runners going down to turn number 1, Umpi Swart on his home circuit. This is now the home circuit for Clinton Bezuidenhout as well.
Yeah, he's moved from the Eastern Cape. He's come to join us here at Killarney, and we welcome him home. And we will now claim him as our champion, because he is now living here in Cape Town. So, Clinton, doesn't matter where you come from before, you're not their champion anymore. You're now our champion.
Don't forget about Nathan Victor, that young man, Nathan Victor. I tell you what, he is very, very quick, sporting the Summit Racing colours. Finds himself in 3rd position on the grid. Now, if you look at the qualifying times as they were, as the 5-second board is just about to come up. If you look at the qualifying times, 25.1, a 25.6, and a 25.7. That means that there was 11/100ths of a second between Clinton Bezuidenhout and Nathan Victor. Skull Keldernace a little bit off that, but when I say a little bit is not enough to break the toe. So as long as Skull Keldernace, whose dad is an ex-class champion, and he's now up into Class A, as long as he can hold into the toe, it is a 4-way battle. But never ever count out the Bullion IT GTI Challenge Alert Engine, Sparco and Tiny's Pitbox sponsored car on the front row of the grid. The number 1, the A1, Umpi Swart. He is the pride of Killarney International when it comes to polos and the GTI Challenge.
Not going to be an easy guy to overtake, but trust me, Clinton's going to give him a run for his money. Then from Summit Racing, we've got Nathan Victor, GNA Motorsport, the Skull Keldernace, and Unlimited Auto. He's a Kai van Zyl as the lights go off. And away we go. The 2023 season for Alert Parts GTI Challenge fires away as they race down into turn number 1. Classes A, B, and C all together. Out of turn 1, out of Holzoek they come. And it's Umpi Swart from Clinton Bezuidenhout sitting 1st and 2nd as they make their way up the Joubert Straight towards Quarry Corner. Then we have got Skull Keldernace in there. He's got his nose ahead of Nathan Victor. Nathan tries to shove it up on the inside and move into that 3rd position. Yep, Nathan Victor goes back into P3. Then behind them it's Kai van Zyl. That's the 5 Class A cars as they work their way into Interceptor Corner, and the leader of Class B is the Wheelworks Polo of Zaki Hendricks.
Well, we've had one car that went off in turn number 1, but it looks like the man himself, Umpi Swart, is doing what he does best. You've got to break the toe. You've got to break it early. He's got to get away. He's got Clinton Bezuidenhout, one of the top Polo Cup racers at Extreme Festival for 2022. If he can break that toe from there on out, he knows he'll be okay. As we said, between Skull Keldernace and Nathan Victor, there was a fair gap, but if he can stay in that slipstream, that is what it's all about, to stay there in the fight. Umpi Swart's got different ideas of going into 3- and 4-way battles. He wants to get away. He wants some fresh air. Clinton Bezuidenhout's having nothing of it.
Lap number 1 has been done for Clinton Bezuidenhout, sitting in that 2nd position. His first lap in around Killarney International Raceway in GTI Challenge. There's a challenge here for 3rd. There's a lock-up going through, and he goes high and he goes wide. And that is Keldernace. That's gone off, yes. He had to go there at Nathan Victor, and he overdone it heavily, and he's buried himself there in the kitty litter on the outside of turn 1, Holzoek.
Maybe there was the first commentator's curse for the day, saying slightly off, 5/10 off, and he would need to hold on. He held on exceptionally well. Talking about holding on, Clinton Bezuidenhout holding on to Umpi Swart as they work their way down through Interceptor Corner. Lovely to see so many people on the grandstand. Good morning to you, one and all, as the leaders in Class A come past you. It's Nathan Victor from Kai van Zyl. Zaki Hendricks, the old man, in the beautiful new Wheelworks car, leading out Class B. Welcome back to the front end of the pack, Zaki Hendricks.
Working his way now out of turn number 4, out of Cyril Sweep. Down the back lane goes Zaki Hendricks in Class B, followed there by Carl Visser. Then it's Mark Thompson. Mohammed Kalpe is in there behind him. Then the leading Class C car, that is the 15 car of Nur Abbas. That's busy working his way down the back straight towards turn 5, Fostron.
Well, in the absence of the Carl Walshers of this world, there's a couple of openings for new kids on the block to be able to make a name for himself. Nur Abbas is exactly where he wants to be right now, leading out the Brat Pack. Zaki Hendricks comes through underneath us, Zaki looking very, very good. And then Zaki Hendricks has got Thompson and Visser in there behind him, but he's starting to make a bit of a breakaway from them. Here comes the Class C. Daniel Mooner from Suleiman Effendi, the next two coming through.
Right, Class C cars are working their way out of turn number 1, and that is being led there by Nur Abbas. He leads Class C. He's got Matthew Rowe right there behind him in that second position as they head now towards turn 2. Then we've got a sizable gap before we see the 38 car in there, and that is Barry Cochran that's in that 38 car, and right on his case there he has got Ramiz Bolton as they exit turn 2.
Oh, Umpi Swart using the whole curbstone coming through the Sarah van der Merwe sweep right on top of the curbstone. That curbstone is very high. If you drop off the outside of it while you're heading straight towards probably the scene of a big accident, you're going to be the star in that one. But I tell you what, Umpi's realized, like I said to you, he's got to get away from Bezuidenhout. Bezuidenhout knows how to apply pressure. He knows how to slipstream. He knows how to work his tires. Umpi's just about far enough away now from our new man in Cape Town, regular in Cape Town, Bezuidenhout. He in turn has got enough gap now from Nathan Victor. Nathan Victor's got nothing to lose because Kai van Zyl's got a bit of a gap between himself and them. Then the return to stardom, Zaki Hendricks works his way through. A brilliant drive from Zaki Hendricks to get right back to the front end of that field. Visser, Thompson and Kalpe very close behind that.
Yeah, and then we've got that fight for Class C. Oh, Matthew Rowe dives up on the inside, going into turn number 1. He pulls in there behind Nur Abbas again as they exit turn number 1. Matthew Rowe wants through on Nur Abbas as they exit turn 1, working their way up the Jabez straight towards turn 2. That's the 2 leading Class C cars heading down into turn number 2 now, and Matthew Rowe is all over the back there of Nur Abbas. Then coming through now, we've got the rest of the Class C cars. They're heading into turn number 2 now as well, but the Class A cars are working their way down the back main towards turn number 5, led there by the BullionIT.com man, and that is Yuri Swart Jr.
Yeah, he's doing it all right. In fact, the front 3, Swart, Bezuidenhout and Victor doing it all right. Frankie coming back to Abbas there, leading out in Class C. The two of them within 0.2 of a second of one another, Abbas and Rowe. Effendi 9 seconds further back, so a massive canyon between the 2 fastest and the rest of the pack. But from Effendi backwards, it's all very, very close. So anything goes wrong up front, that can turn Class C completely upside down. The Brat Pack is alive in 2023.
Well, into turn number 5, into Fostron corner. That fight in Class C still going one-on-one. The cameraman can pick that one up for us. They're heading out of turn number 5, out of Fostron, working their way towards the City of Cape Town Bridge. This is first and second in Class C, and Matthew Rowe once again climbs out, moves up onto the inside of Nur Abbas. That's the only real fight there. Who's going to go through the line? Gets covered. Oh, they almost touch these two as they make their way out of turn number 1. And our cameraman has missed that one completely as this massive fight is heading now towards turn number 2.
It's a pity we missed that one out on the camera, because that battle for the front end of Class C is very, very tight. Nur Abbas actually closed the line, Frankie. It was a little bit close going in there, but some brilliant driving from himself and Rowe to be able to get through there. So that Class C battle looking very, very solid. Let's go back to the front end of the field, going down into Cape Town corner. That's what you see on your screen right now, and that is Oompie Swart. Oompie Swart leading out from Clinton Bezuidenhout. The gap slowly but surely growing. Last time they came through was 2.1 seconds between them. I do believe it's slightly more, but I don't believe the gap between Bezuidenhout and Victor has grown whatsoever. That seems to be pretty much the same. Has Nathan Victor saved his tyres enough that he can now, with 3 laps to go and fetch Clinton Bezuidenhout?
Well, 125.672 is the quickest lap out there posted by Clinton Bezuidenhout. The Class B fight.
Sorry, Frankie, that's by Oompie. Oompie just put it up now. After you looked away, it was Oompie that just put the fastest one up.
Well, that just happened directly after I mentioned that. Well picked up there by Gaza. So we are the Class B cars. They're coming out at turn number 1 and they're heading towards turn number 2, and it's getting close now. Zaki Hendricks and Carl Visser, they're sitting first and second in Class B as they work their way out of turn 2, and Visser's closing up onto the back end there of Zaki Hendricks as they busy make their way through the kink and race towards turn 3. That's Interceptor Corner. Then behind them we have got Mohammed Kalfay. That says Kalfay there, but it's Kalfay on the side of the car, and he's been chased down by the 81 Polo of Mark Thompson.
Well, I tell you what, the laps are ticking away. Oompie Swart, as Frankie looked, it was Clinton that had the fastest time. As he looked away, he started talking. I saw the flash on the bottom of the screen. 125.672 is, in fact, what has been done by Oompie Swart. There's just 2 more laps to go as he works his way down towards turn number 1. Second in the race, second overall is still Clinton Bezuidenhout. And as I said, that gap is opening up. It's 0.4 of a second right now between them. And then Nathan Victor is closing. Nathan Victor is closing. There's no doubt about it. He's closing up, and with 2 laps to go, I think he might be able to make a play in there. Zaki Hendricks, brilliant job, back into form, back in with the youngsters. Visser within a second now starting to do exactly what is being done. The front end of Class A, preserve the tyres, let the front man push, and then the front end of Class C. Oh, look at that. Frankie, once again, alongside one another. When they came through, it was Rowe ahead of a bus, but they don't give space for one another. They're chopping and hacking and rubbing one another as they work their way out and, into the Joubert Straight.
Yeah, look at this fight going down into turn number 2. They are side by side heading into turn number 2, and then Rowe is up on the inside. A bus sits on his outside. That is the fight for first and second in Class C. They working their way through the kink. Here comes Nuabas. He sits on the outside there of Matthew Rowe. They still side by side as they go into turn number 3, Interceptor Corner. Who will give in for the other one? The bus sits on the outside. Watch out, they're heading now for the double right-hand, and that is Cyril Sweet, and that's where it's going to get interesting.
Oompie Swart takes the win as he comes through underneath us, closing down very fast, but not fast enough. Is Victor on the back of Bezuidenhout. Swart, Bezuidenhout and Victor, that's how they come across the line. So the Class B battle, as we said, Visser was closing up on Hendricks. Out of Cape Town Corner they come. This is going to be up towards the line. Let's hope the cameraman can pick that one up for us as they come up towards the line. Very, very close. It's going to be Zaki Hendricks that's going to take it away from Visser. Kalpay managed to keep a big enough gap ahead there of Thompson, and I think that gap stayed pretty much the same at the end of the last lap. Frankie, Class C, what a battle. The Brat Pack is in town. Bring them to the line.
Right, here they come to the line. That's the car you see on your screen now, and it's Matthew Rowe. Matthew Rowe gets to the checkered flag just ahead there of Nur Abbas that finishes in that second position. Well, no, that's not the checkered flag. The flag is going to come out now.
Oh dear.
So yeah, Gary said the flag, so I went with that.
Yeah, I saw it on the screen, but yeah, corrected. It's Oompie that's on his way down the back straight now and into Cape Town Corner, and second and third. He's still up for grabs.
Right, so rectification on that. This is now indeed the last lap. Well, the action is so damn good out there that you can easily get that wrong, but the flag is definitely coming out now, and the victory will go to Yuri Oompie Swart as he crosses the line. Second is going to be Clinton Bezuidenhout, but on his case is going to be Nathan Victor. Bezuidenhout just holds off Victor for second and third position, and Kai van Zyl should come home in 4th, although I don't quite know. No, Kai
He's
is
disappeared.
not out there. He's disappeared, yes.
Yeah, unfortunately, he's disappeared from that run. So another Class A car having a battle. Zaki Hendricks, is he tiring or is he saving the tyres? Either way, Frankie, he's coming through for a Class B victory, the first one for the season.
Zaki Hendricks comes home in P1, followed there by Carl Visser across the line in that 2nd position. And then darting towards us now is Mohammed Kalfei, and he will get to the line just ahead there of Mark Thompson.
Well, that battle for Class C actually eventually split up and became a completely different scenario as something happened on the last lap, and there then eventually came a gap between the Matthew Rowe, who was at the back of that battle most of the time, eventually ends up in a 2-second gap from a bus with Effendi coming through in 3rd.
Suleiman Effendi, yes, and then the 18 and the 96 cars crossing the line there. That is Ramiz Boltman